Hi everybody, I'm Stacy Juba from Shortcuts for Writers. I'm a fiction author, a freelance developmental editor, and the creator of online courses for writers. And this is the third installment in my Amazon shopping series, highlighting different products in my Amazon store. And today I'm going to feature 5 books of I think are useful and of interest to writers. So the first one is Roshis Thesaurus, and I think this is an essential book for any writer. This is the second edition of it that I've had in my life. The first one I bought in 5th grade upon the recommendation of my 5th grade teacher, who really encouraged me with creative writing. And I used it so much that about 7 or 8 years ago, it was just falling apart. It was heavily duct tape. Pages were falling out. It was in 2 sections because the duct tape wasn't working. So I finally broke down and got a new copy of it. I definitely recommend it. I know that there are online thesauruses and that it's built into many writing programs or just programs like Microsoft Word. But there's definitely something to be said for flipping through it during the editing process and scanning the list of synonyms to help you just beef up your writing and to write more descriptively and to have more vivid word choice. As an editor, I definitely work with a lot of authors where I've read their manuscripts, beginners especially, where they definitely could have benefited from using a thesaurus. Another book is The Chunky Method Handbook by Allie Piter. And if you follow my Shortcuts for Writers blog, you might remember that Allie wrote a guest post a while back on writing during stressful times, such as a pandemic. She also has another book in my Amazon store on writing during difficult times. And this one is centered on just really learning a technique to help you get into a regular writing routine and finish your book. So follow a step-by-step plan to identify your unique writing chunk and wield it to create a solid plan that works even when life gets in the way. So I've used this myself and found it really helpful. So if you're having trouble finding time to write or just getting into a regular routine, definitely check out The Chunky Method. Third book is The Rural Setting Thesaurus, A Writer's Guide to Personal and Natural Places by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi. And this is really useful for fleshing out your settings and descriptive scenes about different places. Even if you don't have trouble writing description, if writing settings comes naturally to you, you still might find this book useful because it can be challenging when you're writing about a place you're not that familiar with, or you haven't been to in a while, or if you've never been to a place like that, it can be hard to kind of conjure up those details. So this can really help get the creative juices flowing. So for example, if we look at the table of contents, you can find entries on attic, basement, birthday party, block party, a chicken coop, a child's bedroom, Halloween party, foster home, and this is just, I'm just picking some at random because there's a lot more. Secret passageways, a teenager's bedroom, high school hallway, elementary school classroom, a campsite, a beach party, an archery range, ancient ruins, mausoleum, a lighthouse, a pasture, the Arctic tundra, a beach, canyon, a creek, a lake, a marsh, a meadow, mountains, rainforest, river. So there's a lot of settings, quite a interesting variety. And so you would flip to the entry you were looking for, say like a high school cafeteria. So and this is something that we've all probably have memories of high school, but if you haven't been in a high school cafeteria in a while, it can be really tricky to get all those images and sounds and smells, just to really think of those off the top of your head. So they divide it into sights, sounds, smells, tastes, textures, and sensations. So for example, under sights, we have bright fluorescent light strips running across the ceiling, double swinging doors, handmade posters on the walls advertising school events, rows of long tables with uncomfortable plastic chairs spaced along them, a line full of jostling teens, colored plastic or metal trays, lunch staff wearing white aprons and hairnets, a cash register, paper plates and plastic cutlery, a menu board listing items, a salad bar, crumpled napkins, fries on the floor, actually pudding globs and stuffed up fries on the floor, scrunch up balls of plastic wrap on the floor, enter sounds, laughing, talking, squealing, the bubbling of boil as a basket of fries was lowered into a vat, trays sliding along the counter, the suction sound of a sealed fridge door opening, bells chiming or buzzing as the period ends, shoes squeaking against the floor, a voice over the intercom calling a student to the office, and then for smells, like a menu item of the day, such as hot dogs, chili, chicken fingers and fries, corn dogs, burnt smells from spillovers or overcooked food, textures and sensations, hard plastic trays, cold metal counters, a tabletop covered in salt granules, rough paper napkins, shaking a can to see if anything's left inside. And then each entry or each setting entry also has a little checklist on possible sources of conflict. So school cliques that exclude others, bullies who mess with one's food or who are into school-wide humiliation, having no one to sit with and feeling like everyone is staring. So there's lots of ideas for inspiration. And then if we take a more unusual setting, such as a rodeo, if you're writing like a cowboy romance, for example, a dirt arena surrounded by bleachers or stadium seating, people riding bucking broncos and bulls, barrel racers maneuvering around a series of battles, livestock shows, an exhibition area with booths and vendors, a halftime show where young kids dressed in Western duds come out for lasso competitions or to rope a calf, country music playing, applause, air horns and cowbells, boots clanging on metal bleachers, the smell of dust, horses, hay, leather, sweat, rodeo food, sensations, sweat trickling down the back, dust in the throat, sweaty hair plastered to one's head, an itchy 10-gallon hat. So lots of inspiration. And then they also have another book called The Urban Setting Thesaurus, which is along the same lines, but it's dedicated more to city spaces, such as alleys, big city streets, car accidents, cheap motel, nightclub, amusement park. I actually used this book when I was working on my book Prancing Around with Sleeping Beauty, which the second book of my Storybook Valley series, and set at a theme park. So I looked under amusement park. There was also a nightclub scene, and I hadn't been to a nightclub since my single days, so I used that. And there was also a scene by a river in the woods, so I used the rural setting thesaurus for that. So it's definitely really useful, and again, you'll find the same kind of the same layout of the sights and the sounds, the smells, tastes, textures, and sensations, possible sources of conflict, and then some other notes and tips. So I think these are really useful. And one weakness I see in a lot of manuscripts by beginner authors is over-relying on restaurant scenes. There'll be scene after scene where people are eating or drinking coffee. So you really want to vary those scenes. So you could also use those books just to get some inspiration for other places where your scenes could take place, so you're not just always having them like at home or at the office or at a restaurant or at a coffee shop. And then the last book I want to show you is Create, an intensive biz playbook and planner for solopreneurs by Mira Cothand. And if you are a member of the Shortcuts for Writers group, you may remember that a while back Mira came and she did a workshop for us on email lists. She had some really useful tips on email marketing. If you're new to the group or you missed that workshop, you can go to the unit section of the Facebook group, and there's a whole unit dedicated to an archive of past workshops. We've had lots of guests come in and do presentations for us, and we have some scheduled in the future also, so that's where those are archived, and you can check them out at your leisure. So definitely check out Mira's. She's also written several other books that are business-oriented about building email lists, business planning. She has a blog planner. So this one is, it's like a workbook. So if you really want to take a business, it's not like for writers, it's for anybody that has their own business. So you could apply it to selling books, or if you have another business, you could use it, apply it toward that. So if you want to just really sit down and analyze what's been working for you in the past, what hasn't, and really brainstorm, do a lot of brainstorming of marketing strategies, different like launch strategies, like who your ideal buyer is. This has a lot of space and a lot of prompts to guide you through that kind of planning. So you definitely check that out, or check out any of Mira's books for further guidance with like a business and planning strategy mindset. So I hope you found that helpful. I'll put the link in the description to my Amazon store. It's divided into different categories, and so most of those are found under the writing books section. I think this one was probably under business books. And I did a couple of earlier videos. One was on technology and technology accessories and home office supplies for writers and entrepreneurs, or anybody really who's working at home. And then the second video was on comfort items. Like if you spend a lot of time on the computer and you tend to get eye strain, headaches, backaches, neck aches, that kind of thing. I did sort of a show and tell of a lot of products that I find helpful. Some of them are very unusual. It's just to help you feel more comfortable. So again, I'll put the link in the comments. I hope you found the series helpful. If you have any suggestions for other products to put in my Amazon store, please let me know. I'd be excited to check them out. And let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books that I featured, or if you plan to in the future. Thank you for watching.